Hi everybody. I decided to do a video blog today because I just wanted to change a pace. Sometimes when I sit down at the computer to write, I just get terrible writer's block, and I thought maybe doing a video blog would be a good way to kind of break up the routine and try something different. So anyway, I do have something I would like to discuss today. I saw a video on YouTube last week by a guy. He had titled it "Eaten to Death." And in this video he was talking about how his weight had been a problem his entire life from when he was a small child, and how he had done everything possible to try to conquer his weight problem. He'd been to hypnotists. I think he said he even had gastric bypass. He had liposuction. He tried everything, and he's still a big guy. And he talked about how he felt inadequate, how he never really felt comfortable in his skin. And even though he had gotten everything that he'd ever wanted in his life, he is married to a woman that he loves. He has a brand new baby. He has a business. He has a house and a car, I guess all the material things that he needs. Even though he has all these things that he wanted, he still does not feel 100% great about himself or fulfilled in his life. And when I saw this, it made me feel pretty sad. It's not unusual by any means. A lot of large people feel this way, that no matter what great things they have in their life, if they're married to a great spouse, if they have great kids, if they have a great job, if they're extremely intelligent, it doesn't matter. The other positive attributes that they have are like nothing in comparison to looking the way that society expects them to. That is their number one goal in life. It's their number one aspiration, is to be what everybody tells them that they should be. And so I wrote him a comment on his video, and I asked him, could you tell me how your weight has prevented you from achieving all these things that you wanted in your life? You said you've got a wife, you've got a baby, you've got what seems like a successful business. And by any means, this guy was not an unattractive guy. I mean, he looked like your typical football player type of guy, a big guy, kind of a husky guy, but he looked physically fit and perfectly attractive. And as I said, he had everything he wanted in his life, and he answered that it hadn't prevented him from getting what he wanted, but he still just did not feel 100% great about himself. And I think that is really sad. And I think that weight is the perfect scapegoat for blaming all your problems on. I mean, how can weight be a problem if it hasn't prevented you from getting everything you wanted in life? Obviously, it's not the weight that's the problem. It's the way that you look at the weight that's the problem. And more importantly, it's the way others look at the weight that's the problem for you. I think a lot of people, not just large people by any means, this goes for all human beings, but we all want to be accepted by everybody. We all want everybody to love us. We all want everybody to tell us that we're the greatest, that we're the hottest, that we're, the cat's ass. We want everybody to adore us. And it's just not realistic. Not everybody is going to love you, no matter how gorgeous you are, no matter how smart you are, whatever. There's always going to be somebody who has something bad to say about you. And I think a lot of people think that looking perfect, being a perfect 10, whatever you want to call it, is kind of like an insurance policy for your life. That at least if you look great, if you look the part, then you're going to be successful. Like no matter what, sooner or later, success is going to come your way just because you look great. And it's a total lie. It's a total con. And it amazes me that people don't realize this. I remember listening to a radio show once. One of my favorite people in the world is a woman named Raki, and she has a radio show and a magazine that are both called Large in Charge. She's been doing them for about 10 years now, I believe. And she's a large woman. She's a very large woman. She's a gorgeous woman as well. And she advocates for, large people's rights. She, talks about size discrimination, weight issues, all that on her show. It's a fantastic show. If you guys go to iTunes, you can get it on podcast for free if you subscribe to her podcast. And it's a weekly show. And it's great because they talk about all these weight issues. In one particular show, they were talking about fat and how society perceives you as a large person. And one of her regular callers called in and said, I believe it was Jello, and she said, I never had a problem with my weight until somebody else did. And when she said that, I was like, wow. It was like, when you have one of those Oprah aha moments, or when the light bulb goes off in your head and you just go like, eureka, She's absolutely right. I mean, if somebody hadn't told you that your weight was a problem, would it be a problem? Can you imagine living in a world where nobody noticed your weight, nobody mentioned your weight in a negative way, nobody brought it to your attention, nobody made you feel self-conscious about it? Can you imagine how much different your life would be? I mean, just think about it. How much freer that we would all feel. How we wouldn't be afraid to do anything. We wouldn't be afraid to wear the kind of clothes that we want, or do the kind of things that we want, or go out and go after the things that we want, because our heads haven't been filled with a lot of bullshit because of it. I mean, think about it. When you're a little child, you're innocent. You're kind of like a blank slate. And most people leave kids alone until they're about 5 years old, and that's when they start indoctrinating them with all kinds of stuff, like you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And that's when people first start saying, oh, you're getting a little bit chubby, you better watch what you're eating, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you would not even think of that when you're a child unless somebody tells you, and it's ingrained in you from when you're a child. And that's where a lot of this sort of emptiness and this aching to be accepted comes from. It's just wanting to hear those people who used to say all those negative things to you say positive things to you. And like I said, that's just not going to happen. Not everybody is going to love you, no matter how great you are. One of the most beautiful women in the world, and one of the most successful women in the world, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, look at her. Look at her life, right? It was tragic. I mean, she certainly looked the part. She was gorgeous. She was the sexiest, most beautiful woman in the world. Yet look how she ended up. She ended up dead of a drug overdose in her 30s. And so how is looking perfect a guarantee of anything? It's not. It's all about who you are inside and how you look at yourself and the kind of things that you choose to focus on. Now, there's not much we can do about what people say to us. People are going to say shit all the time, but it's up to you whether you listen to it or not. And, I'm not saying that this guy who made the video, who says that he just doesn't feel great unless he loses the weight. I'm not telling him not to lose weight if that's what he wants to do. But don't think that you have to lose weight to be happy, because you don't. It's all a matter of accepting yourself and accepting who you are. And if certain people out there who you want to like you don't like you, oh well. I mean, how is that? Why are you making them such a priority in your life? Why are you letting them have such control over your life? It's just sad. And I think a lot of large people fall into that trap of just wanting to conform and wanting to please the majority so that they will finally get the acceptance that they have been deprived of. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to be posting a link to the guy's video in my blog here in case you want to go check that out. And I'll also be posting a link to Rocky's radio show and magazine, so you can check those out, because I definitely urge you to do so, because it's really, really great. So, I guess maybe I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.